Morning. Morning. As I'm putting this in the chat, let's see how my audio is. I don't know why it says option strategies, but not that that really matters. Hey, Santiago. What's up, buddy? You guys hear me okay? So we got a little bit of a break on Dragon. I got a little bit over my, I don't know if I'd say over my skis. I just got more short than I wanted Tuesday. And got a little bit of a break here, come out of some, and then I reshorted yesterday afternoon and evening right into this 50 level and got to get a little bit back last night. But I'm looking for a bigger break. I mean, this daily cycle is pretty high. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 count since we broke above this high here. And daily cycle's high, and then obviously this, if it's 49.5 is the resistance, is, all these wicks are up here. So we're getting a topping tail now. What we want to see is just we need to crack that low. What's up, Dims? Yeah, it does look like a kind of a blow off top. I mean, that's a pretty classic setup, right? Topping tail. Let's see if we can start making lower lows. This has just been a one-way street, though. These when it's like this, and especially right here, when you're just stuck on the 8 like this, and you don't get a chance to, you don't break. It's much easier to trade when you get back and forth, at least a little bit ebb and flow. This day was rough right here. It was a tough day to be contrarian. Because we played this wall, right? And you got 100% retrace. And then just never got a chance to really get out. I mean, it just hugged this 8 the entire day. Anyway. So it's kind of what I'm watching in FX. S&Ps I sold late in the day and bought some more puts. If we get the next push down, I'm going to cover some, and then I want to start trading this back and forth. I mean, I guess you could have, if you sold really well yesterday, you should probably could have covered some here in front of 2,800. There's 15 points here. Let's see what the 30 minutes looking like. Dims, you are? You're kind of at your max. All right. I sold a little bit more here on this 5-minute setup. Right in here. There's some good moves today. These are some pretty good moves. This is a 5-minute chart, but so 148, what, 3/4, call it? That's kind of what we need to take out. Bonds got hit late in the day yesterday. I didn't buy any 30s, but man, if you did, you get rewarded again this morning. If you bought in front of 137, the buck, you could be coming out for half a point right now. I covered what I sold after this. We bought 23.5s, resold, covered yesterday. The bounce in the long end is a little bit more this morning. I might short some ultras here actually. Back here at Pi. I'm going to short some ultras right now, guys, as a trade. Since we're long bonds, it's kind of a hedge also. I'll risk like 10 ticks. What else? We covered some euros yesterday. Sold around 115. Daily cycle still high on euros. I covered some in front of 114. It's just 115 to 114. Now, if we kind of break this trend of higher lows, we get back through 114, then there's a little bit of support at 113.55, but then everybody's going to kind of focus on 113 again. The euro is still pretty weak. I don't know if we have any cable news or like Brexit news until next week. I mean, anything can happen. But this is kind of similar chart to Dragon. You are still making lower highs. The thing with cable on this chart, the fact that you came from a lower low relative to here, it makes it harder to go all the way back to this high. So anytime you drop, because you gotta take into account where something comes from and how it gets there. So when you basically just drop in a straight line to a new low, it's hard to come all the way back to that same level after a new low. So more than likely, the probability or the edge is that we get a lower high here. And then you get another retrace, you get an ebb and flow back the other way, right? So that'll be good for Dragon. And it's the same kind of setup. We just want to watch this prior candle's low. And that would be a nice swing line sell setup there. Daily cycle's nice and high. Guys, I got to do a couple trades here. Dragon, based on those same lines, Dragon looks a little bit different in the sense that you actually are kind of coming from a higher low instead of a lower low. So you've got these prior lows here, kind of an inverse head and shoulders, and there would be your neckline. So the fact that you made a higher low here kind of makes me think maybe I was thinking yesterday maybe we did get a slightly higher high. But I mean, this is just such a big level technically. And even if you run the stops through here, you've got the regression right at 150. So anytime we get to the top of this range, you know, fifty-fifty on the Brexit deal. All right, Dims. Oil just cannot catch a bid at all. I mean, it's just hanging out here down at pi. I thought with the rally yesterday in S&Ps we'd get a little bit of it would trade a better, and just nothing but lower highs still. This is getting pretty long in the tooth though, this downtrend. Doesn't this move in oil though just reconfirms global macro growth slowing for sure. Where's Tesla this morning? It's just hanging out underneath 350. I'd like to come out of some more puts down here in front of 340. Dollar yen's pretty high up here too. We may want to trade into this 114 handle though. Gold's been pretty sideways. Getting a little bit of a pullback. Talked about Tuesday, this 1215 area. 4-hour cycle's low. Santiago, what are you doing this morning? Just hoping that S&Ps don't trade up again. We got the Fed. That's right. And we got Aussie tonight. We got cable GDP in the morning. PPI tomorrow. We had claims already. You're thinking it's 8. They're pretty much in line. 214 actual. Forecast was 214. All good, dude. Well, it's a little bit slow here. I guess we're waiting on the open. I think the machines are going to be focused on 2800. Trying to think if I want to cover one of these S&Ps back so I can put it back out on the bounce. Let's see how short I want to be. I think I'm going to do that, just be conservative. I'm going to cover a third of my S&Ps, and then if we rally, and then I'm going to re-short. You're supposed to be long the VIX down here also. I guess if we don't hold pi though, we're going to be back at 15. Pi on the daily on the actual index is 15. It's lower, 14, 15. I may put some VIX on, VIX futures, if we break 2800. And then see if we can add to it if it starts to go. I'd want to see something like kind of like we got here, but we didn't get any follow through. It gets, maybe if we get a real money candle right here, go long with the stop below these lows and see if we can add to it. Might be a good trade actually. What else you guys got going? Santiago, you're doing materials yesterday, right? You're fading that a little bit. I'm pretty short right now. Otherwise, I kind of like XLK up here. I mean, definitely on the next intermediate term dip, gonna be loading up on some XLU on the long side. I don't know where we were on this. I mean, I know like Santiago, you've been long, but I don't know where I was here. Even on this dip was good. This one. Good Bitcoin futures. BTC failed at Pi on the 4 hour. It's not a bad place to be a little bit short, like a hedge, if you've got a decent long coin portfolio. Support still at 6,200. Let's look at some other crypto here. Market's kind of slow. I was saying yesterday in our video that Binance of the majors is first to kind of break out here. I just say that because it finally broke this pattern of lower highs, getting above 560. It's pretty good support there, 560. Pretty good bounce off the 200 right into the bands. Definitely change the TMS when you look at it versus BTC. You got phase two lower, phase two, right? Stop making lower lows and then breaking out above this pivot. Ether versus BTC still hasn't made it above those lower highs. Litecoin just can't get off 50. See what else these guys are talking about in the room. Wow. bat. What a move that had, huh? Jeez. Basic attention token and on fire. Wow. Those are some nice long-term cycles. Supposed to be a seller though now. So many of these alts I haven't looked at. Civic. Wow, it's gone nowhere. Dash is still pretty pancaked. Doge had a pretty good move in September. It's not a bad spot to be buying back in, actually. I kind of like it down here, actually. I kind of like this about 80% retrace. That one looks pretty good. Look at Ethereum versus Ethereum Classic. Trade's horrible. This is another good place to be short. Short Ethereum Classic, go long Ether. I guess it'll look cheap. Ethereum Classic will look cheap back here towards Pi. Factum, trade's horrible. Are you in those, Santiago? GBT and Poly? Pretty good pullback. I like the daily cycle low down there. Still watching ultras here at Pi. The market's just dead right now. Rusty. I like this pullback here. You know, it's in a long-term uptrend. The weeklies probably looks great. Weekly cycles high. What do these guys do? Polymath. Pretty good uptrend. Both those are in uptrends. You got a swing line buy set up here too. Bottoming tail, daily cycles low. It looks pretty good. think I'm gonna grab some salt down here. I didn't look at the relative value this morning. I guess we should do that. Let's see. Still, it's kind of the same as yesterday. Zcash is pretty rich, pretty strong. Binance is low. You have no idea. That works. So go through some more of these lists. Oof. Nasty. Guess nobody cares about that protocol. Neo versus BTC failed at Pi. Neo versus Tether. On the same looking chart. More lower highs. Nothing going on in a Misego. Nothing going on in Vertcoin. Monero still basing. My last buy was in the 120s. A pretty big pivot here on Monero at 137. That's lower highs in the weekly, 200. Daily cycle is kind of not in our favor on the long side. Nothing going on in Zcash. A little bit of a real money candle. I wouldn't say real money, but this candle's hold on. This candle's decent relative to some of this price action. Probably need to get above 144. Zen. Nothing going on there. So I guess Ripple and Bitcoin Cash trade better than the other majors. Failure at Pi. Ripple is top volume. I'll look at Binance Coin. I think I skipped that one. Just look at EOS too. Going nowhere. Both of them, huh? I guess that makes sense. Man, Binance has gotten really quiet. It's all about the 11 level. And then 12, you got Pi and the 200 up here. 11, 11 and a half. That was the old support. Pretty technical. Tesla's got a new chairman. I was thinking yesterday on Tesla. I mean, I want to see which side of the fence we can settle on 350. I was gonna sell a couple puts though against some of my out of the money puts if we get above 350 in case we go to 370, 380. The edge is definitely to be short though up here. How much that implied vols come in. Yeah, it's stuck right at that level. FOMC, I think I think it's the other way around, Santiago. I think the move in equities, the Fed's, they don't have a process and a model, so they're so rear view looking, and not like they're smart enough to take a look at commodities and the prices and say, all right, this is a leading indicator, the crash in oil, that we're not going to get any inflation. But I think they care more about the stock market. So we have, one of the worst months in a long, long time. I think that just gets them to be more dovish. They won't admit it, but they basically just stare at the stock market. So I think this move down is going to get them to be more dovish on the margin. I don't know if the bond market's priced some of that in, maybe. They should have stopped their hiking into the end of last year. Now they're just raising rates into the slowdown. You know what I mean? Well, guys, since it's kind of slow, I was hoping maybe we'd have some something to do here. So it's kind of slow, I'm just kind of in this admin nightmare, so I got tons of stuff I got to do. I'm gonna probably hop off with you guys, but I'll catch you in the chat. We'll see how we open up in 30 minutes. But my game plan, S&Ps, I'm gonna cover into the bands on the 30-minute. Well, I don't know, kind of depends. The bands is kind of right where my average is, so I'm definitely going to be covering back towards the 200 here on the 30-minute, 2760 if we get that low. And then on the up, I'm going to sell her again in front of 2820 if we bounce. But I'll just talk to you guys about that in the chat. And then I don't know if some of you maybe you're on from the live room. I'll have a new Zoom room up by Tuesday. I had another login for that, but they only let you have 3 people. I didn't have the pro set up on that other login. So you can only be on for 45 minutes with 3 people, which is, pretty much useless. But are you guys good? We'll just hang out in the chat. I'm gonna grab a bite to eat before the open, and then I'll see you guys in there. Thanks for hopping on now, Santiago. Dims, good seeing you, man. All right, guys, welcome. All right, I'll see you in the chat.